So we got some news for you, and usually we don't talk about high school basketball players, but this one in particular, is very popular due to many, many reasons. But we're gonna say it anyway. Bronny James, and in case you guys don't know who Bronny James is, but I assume everybody here knows. But in case you don't, Bronny James is the son of LeBron James. He had surgery yesterday to repair his torn meniscus, and he torn this meniscus in a practice earlier this month. And yeah, basically just a little bit of background information. He plays for the powerhouse Sierra Canyon High School, which, in case you guys don't know what that team's like, that team is very, very good. It is insanely good. It is one of the best high school basketball teams in the country, and it's a pretty scary team. Before that team, he averaged 4.1 points per game in 15 minutes. And he played all 34 games, but he just received surgery, so he's going to be recovering for a little bit. And I just want to say the Los Angeles Daily News was the first to report Bronny James' surgery. So you know what, Nate? I'll start off with you first. Your thoughts on Bronny James' surgery for his torn meniscus?
Well, best of luck to him in the future. I especially he's in high school, so he's got a lot of time on his side. He's got college to worry about. Then obviously we know this kid's going to the NBA. I don't even have to say it that he's not, because I'd be lying to you to say if this man ain't going to the NBA, he is. So he's got a lot of time on his side, but obviously, I recommend him. Obviously, obviously he's gonna do it because he's an athlete, he's a star athlete. Do the physical therapy, the rehab, and whatever. Just do it correctly, and you'll be good. Because like he's young, if this happened to him when he was like 45 and he was still playing basketball, which I know that wouldn't be the case, but say that did happen, that would probably end his career because like you're older, and your body's at that point your body's telling you just at that point to stop because you're just your mind want like I look at it with athletes when they get injured and they're older, their mind tells them keep going, but their body says otherwise. You feel me? Like there's a difference between what your mind says and what your body tells you. But when you're younger, like Bronny James, I think correct me if I'm wrong, Mario, but I'm pretty sure he's 16, 17, I think. Something
He
like
is about, I want to say he's 15 or 16. I can't remember.
that. All
I
right.
believe he might be 16.
We could be wrong, so correct us in the comments. If we're right, then
He's
good guess. But
16.
he's 16. All right, yeah. So like when you're younger, stuff like this, I mean, obviously in the long run it's gonna affect you, but right now when we're younger and you have this kind of injury, it'll affect you for a time. But then once you do the rehab and the therapy correctly, and I'm doing that right now too, because I have a torn MCL on my knee, which I have to get surgery for soon for too. So I kind of know like the drill of like being young and having to deal with a knee injury. So like being young is kind of on your side because like yeah you'll recover from it faster and you'll be back in no time. As long as you do everything correctly, you should be good to go. So I highly doubt that this will. I mean, once he fully recovers, I highly doubt this will get in the way of Bronny James given his age. Obviously, like a lot of people say, age is just a number, and you're absolutely correct. But in some ways, especially when it comes to injuries, depending on your age, it kind of does have an effect on. It kind of does mean something. You know what I mean? So, but because Bronny James is younger, I just don't see this affecting him at least for the near future. And maybe 20, 30 years from now, yeah. But as of right now, he's still young. Time's on his side, so I don't really see this affecting his level of play. So with that being said, I wish Bronny James the best of luck moving forward. And yeah, I'll give it out to you, Mario.
Yeah, before I say anything, I just want to say best of luck to Bronny James on his recovery. See, the take you just gave, I can't say I agree with it or disagree with it. And the reason why is because personally I'm concerned. And the reason why I'm concerned is usually when you develop an injury like at an early age, right? Sometimes, not all the time, it like kind of ends up catching up with you. And that's the question I have. Like, I could be wrong, but like when LeBron was like a teenager, I never heard about him getting an injury. He probably like maybe got like a minor one or whatever, but a torn meniscus is kind of serious. And so it makes me like it makes me kind of concerned. Like, is this going to be something that ends up catching up with him throughout his whole basketball career? Because I mean, you've seen it with like Zion Williamson. That's like the perfect example right there. Zion, he had that injury at Duke. And then obviously when he got to the NBA, they started limiting his time and everything like that. And I hope that's something that they don't do to Bronny James because Bronny James is a very good basketball player. Obviously, like you said, he's young. He got his future ahead of him. So I hope this torn meniscus like doesn't catch up with him. That's like the biggest concern right there. If he treats it right, I mean, most likely it shouldn't, but you just never know. Everybody's bodies are different. It all depends. So that's like the whole concern I have. Um, yeah, I mean, first of all, we also gotta understand, man, he's probably, I want to say, what, sophomore, maybe?
Um,
15,
he
16 years old, sophomore, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a sophomore. So obviously, what I expect from him is to obviously recover, take the necessary steps to recover, to fully recover. And then once you fully recover, get back in the gym, work out, or train, which is probably what he's gonna do. And then when he comes back in, and then when he comes back into play his junior year, I expect Bronny James to be a star at his high school like because the truth is, Nate, like LeBron started building his high school name back when he was a junior and a senior. So I'm not saying, like, obviously, I'm not saying that Bronny James is gonna like do the exact same steps that LeBron James did, but it wouldn't kill him to try because I mean, look at who your father is. Your father is LeBron James, like one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. In some people's eyes, the greatest. So, I mean, when you really think about it, if he's
Got a
gonna
lot on his side.
follow, if he's gonna, what did you say?
Got a lot on his side. Like a lot
Right.
of resources.
And if you think about it, if you're gonna follow, the blueprint of your father, junior and senior year is the perfect time to do it. And this is a very stacked team. Like I remember, this team is absolutely insane. Michael Wooten Jr. is a great player. Josiah Phillips. They got Preston Pippen. They got um. I'm looking at this roster. Nate Dylan White. They got these guys, and they're pretty good players. Nate. Like I'm being honest. Like this is a pretty
Got
good
the son,
basketball.
like you got the sons of two NBA legends on that team. I mean, what else do I gotta say?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's an insane team. And even like a year before, and even like that year before, they had like Zaire Wade, and they had Brandon Boston. Like these are big names, Nate. Like these are like Brandon Boston is going to be one of these top college recruits coming in. Zaire Wade obviously is already getting offers because of obviously how great he plays, and obviously already got like his name up there because of his father, Dwayne Wade. But by the time, but give it like another year, like next year, and when Bronny James becomes like a junior and a senior, that's when I really start. That's when we'll really start to see what Bronny James is made of when he gets more playing time and he gets more of a star role. But yeah, the whole point, going back to my whole point, I just hope the only concern I have is that this meniscus doesn't like carry out with him through his whole career. The last thing I want to see is Bronny James become an injury prone player. And so, I mean, with that being said, I'm wishing Bronny James a very speedy recovery, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck in the future.